And as if by magic, before you can even blink, the Premier League is back. And I guess we're all looking forward to all the stress, the strain, the heartache, the despair that comes from watching Tottenham Hotspur. Or could that be in the past? Now, we've all been through this little bit of a roller coaster with the whole Harry Kane scenario. And I don't want to make this about Harry Kane. He's gone, he's moved on. He was happy with his decision, and we have to respect that. We all support Tottenham. We don't support Harry Kane FC. We support Tottenham. So our focus is around Tottenham and what we do and how we go about finding our next hero, our next one of our own that we're gonna follow. So the season started, and there we are. First match up away to Brentford. Tough start. Some people will go, it's only Brentford, blah, blah, blah. We should be beating teams like that. Or, listen, I've said it before, I'll say it again. Anyone can beat anyone in this league on their day. Just, it's what makes the Premier League exciting. It makes it what it is. It makes the reason why people come and watch. But for me, I think, away games are always going to be hard. The team are always going to raise their game to if they're an unfancied team. And I'm not saying Brentford are an unfancied team, but in terms of an unfancied team versus a team that is supposedly one of the bigger teams, they're always going to raise their game for that. Now, I don't see us in that situation. I don't see us as a bigger team at the moment. I think we're in a massively big rebuild. And it's going to take time. And so it was a little bit disappointing to see some posts from people complaining about the football or complaining about this player and all the rest of it. It's game one with a new manager and a load of new players playing a new system in a new way, under a new direction. You've got to give it time. We knew this. This is one of the reasons why Harry's moved on. He hasn't got 5 years to hang around and watch and wait. And fans, we haven't got that time. We want it now. But unfortunately, that's not going to happen. You need to strap in and wait, because it's going to take time. The number one thing I've heard lots and lots of people talk about is style of football, getting some joy back into it, watching us play with a swagger, watching us go at teams and so on. And again, that's not going to come overnight. It's something you've got to build. It's something you've got to develop. Now, I watched us against Barcelona, and there were parts of that game where I thought, bearing in mind a lot of second-string players in that game, or you wouldn't consider first-teamers, and I thought there were passages of play in that were really good, that we looked really good. So let's talk about Brentford. So you got Vicario in, brand new, Van der Ven coming in, brand new. And all of a sudden, that's just not them. Udogie, this is like two of your back four are brand new behind a brand new goalkeeper, right? So it's going to take time to gel. You'd expect. You've also then got to take into account that you're bringing Basuma in, who hasn't played that much. We haven't seen much of him during the course of last season. Richarlison is now playing out-and-out striker, which we haven't seen. So Kulu coming back from how he was last season, being a little bit under where we'd kind of set our expectations, and also Son still, is he really back to where he needs to be? So there's a lot going on in that team already when you're trying to get the gelling and the understanding amongst the players going in the right direction. So for me, I thought it was very brave. Four new players into the mix, with players who probably haven't played as much football for Tottenham as we would have liked them playing. And overall, I was fairly happy with the result. Personally, I think the penalty for Brentford was harsh, a little bit soft, but you see it all the time. It's going to be one of them. We're going to see it come. But for me, it was one of them that you don't like to see against you. You put up with it if you see it for you, but you wouldn't want to put up with it against you. So defensively, yeah, you're gonna have wobbles. You're gonna have problems. So let's start with Vicario, right? So brand new keeper. He's got two of his back four brand new to the team as well. A little bit of nervousness in there. You've got Romero, who comes in, scores his goal, head injury, goes off, right decision to protect the player. But he's your main defensive man. And then you're replacing him with Sanchez, who all of us are kind of going, Jesus Christ, you know? So you've got a new Cooper playing with these new players, finding his feet, learning how it's going to pan out, losing your best defender very early on. Is he going to make mistakes? Probably. Is he going to be under pressure? Probably. But does he look like he wants to play the game right? Yes. Does he look like he wants to get in and control the ball with his feet? Yes. It was my biggest criticism of Hugo, is that he couldn't kick for toffee. And every time they passed the ball back to him, I was so nervous that he was going to make a mistake. I don't think this guy is that bad. His long kicking, maybe, you know, that's always a bit of a gamble. Is it going to go to one of your players or not? But at the back there, he came into play with the defence. They were passing it around at the back fairly confidently and moving it on. So, you know, listen, you've got to give the guy an opportunity. Made a couple of saves, came out when he needed to, which is again something I used to criticise Hugo about. Didn't come out as much as he used to. When he first came, he was like a sweeper keeper. He'd come out, he'd close his box down, and all the rest of it. As time went on, he did less and less of that. Whereas I think with Vicario, he wants to command his area, and he's not afraid to come out and clear the ball either. So for me, I thought he had a decent game. Didn't think he did anything too bad. He certainly didn't do anything so bad that he deserves some of the abuse that he'd been getting. I'm a bit shocked at that, if I'm being honest, so early in his career. Again, back four across the board, you know, Udogie, I thought was great. You know, loads of pace, loads of power, got involved, not afraid to make a tackle, played the game really, really well, really impressive. Good going forward, you know, did really, really well. Van de Ven, again, looked like he'd been playing with us his whole life. He didn't seem phased at all, knew where he needed to be. Again, making tackles, you know, playing around the back four, confident, pushing the ball forwards from defence. The surprise, I guess, was Sanchez, who I thought over the last couple of games has played fairly well. He's done okay. He's not had some of the problems that you normally associate with him. My biggest concern with Sanchez is he always seems a bit slow to get back. Like in a foot race, he doesn't seem the quickest, and that's always the worry for me. But I don't think he's a long-term player for us. I think they're probably looking to move him on and bring in someone else maybe. But in the meantime, they're utilising that player, and he's certainly playing better than he's played for a while. Couple of games, I know, and you've got to give it time. But let's not crucify the guy. Let's give praise where praise is due, because he deserves it. Emerson's Emerson. I still have more concerns with him, but he has been better. You know, since Porro came in, he's looked far more assured, far more confident, keen to get forward. I mean, his forward play is really good. His great goal as well. You know, he didn't wait. He didn't wait for the free kick to come in. He didn't wait for the whistle or anything like that. He played and took his opportunity, and it was a great goal and a great finish. So we can't really complain about that. And then you're kind of moving into the midfield, and you've got Bissouma, who was immense all the way through it, worked really hard. I think he was probably the guy who had the most touches of the ball. Did really, really well. Didn't seem to get flustered in any way. Glided past a few people from time to time. Maddison, what a breath of fresh air seeing Maddison playing and trying to create, trying to play those balls in, trying to connect the midfield with the attacking players. So again, Bissouma and Maddison looks a good partnership. Skippy working hard as he always does as well. It can't sort of leave him out of the mix. And then I guess you're looking at the front three, which historically has been our better positions, but little bit jaded still. Son's still not back to his best. Kulu's still not back to his best. Richarlison works hard, running around, really trying to get involved, but needs a goal, desperately needs a goal to really kickstart his Tottenham career. But I personally like him. I think he's got the opportunity with Harry moving on. I think he's got the chance now to really show what he can do, and I think he will. I really think he will. I think he's far better than some of the previous attacking players we've had in our teams. I do think he's got the ability that we need to really start getting somewhere in it. And if he doesn't, then all we can say is you've had your opportunity, and if it didn't work, it didn't work. I think a positive for me as well, though, was seeing that even though Son has been made captain, and fair play and congratulations to him for that, it didn't stop Postecoglou pulling him off and replacing him with Perisic. Just because he's the captain doesn't mean say that he doesn't have to play well. He has to play well. And if he's not playing well or it's not working, then he has to take it for the team. Perisic came on, and for the first time for a long time, because last season I felt he was really disappointing, it felt like he was trying to put the ball into the box far more. And that's really what we need from him. He's not going to be great running back as a defender because he's getting on in that kind of age for that position. But in terms of the quality of his crossing and so on, it's undoubted. And I thought he came on and he looked bright and he looked like he had something to offer, which I thought was great. To have that option in there. And again, when you're looking over at the bench and you're saying, well, you've got Solomon who you could have brought on. So there are options. I mean, he's starting to build a little bit of a buffer of players that he can kind of interchange and move around and try different things if it's not working when you're playing against a team that are playing a low block and kind of cutting you off, which we've struggled with historically, but I felt we handled better yesterday. And if it weren't for a soft penalty, we'd have come away with all 3 points. So listen, it's early days. You can't get massively excited, but then you can't get disappointed either. You've got to give yourself time to see how it's going to pan out, how it's going to trend. Are they going to buy any other players? Is there anybody else coming in? Is there more depth to come into this squad? For me, I still feel like we need another centre-back. You've got Romero, you've got Van der Ven, who look like they're going to be the two centre-backs. But, like you say, if Romero's out, if the best you've got is Sanchez, and like I said, he played well yesterday, so can't complain too much, right? But if he is going to play well and continuously play well, then great. If he isn't, then you need somebody else in there. And I know there's been loads of talk about Dyer, and he gets loads and loads of abuse. But listen, he's still a Tottenham player at the moment. Maybe he moves on. I think it's more than likely after so long, and that is a clean sweep required. So we'll just have to see. We'll just have to see where that goes from here. But it looks to me like Postecoglou can make the big decisions. He's not afraid to mix it up, and he's not afraid to change things if he really feels it needs to be. So maybe Harry going is a monkey off his back. He doesn't have to worry about it from that point of view, and it buys him a little bit of time to start to gel and build what he wants to build. He does talk really, really eloquently. I like what he says. I listen to him. He says it as he sees it, which I think is admirable from a manager. He takes responsibility for himself, but he'll call out, where he felt that the team wasn't performing as well as they could do, or where they've lost focus, or what it might be. So it's early days. It's match day 1. We've got to give it time to see where we're going and that. But it was good to have that little bit of a feel good factor back, considering what we've gone through. With losing your best player and everything. It could have got a lot worse. I do still feel that Daniel Levy is going to get some dog's abuse next week at Man United, and quite rightly so. He deserves it, in my opinion. But it's just my opinion, so you can have a different one. I've got no problem with that. But yeah, I was happy. It was good to see some decent football at times. It was good to see some of the newer players coming in straight away and showing a little bit of talent and a little bit of belief. It's something that we've needed for a long time, and I think these are a lot of new young players. So these young players are the future. This is going to take time. We've just got to give it to them and see how they get on. So anyway, that's my view. That's my review of the match. Please feel free to leave a comment, and because I read them all, and I'm interested in your points of view as well. But thanks for watching. Appreciate the support as ever. Up the Spurs.